charged in warrant number 2021-870-WF with 1 count of malice murder and 1 count of felony murder, both of those being felonies.
We have new developments this morning. A family speaking through their heartbreak after a 6-year-old Henry County child died from abuse. Police say his mom and her boyfriend are responsible.
On a quiet street where families once believed they were safe, a tragedy shattered everything they thought they knew. Inside a modest home, the unthinkable happened. A betrayal so deep, it stunned even the closest friends and neighbors. The victims weren't strangers. They weren't outsiders. They were family, a child robbed of a future by the very people meant to protect and cherish them. As word spread, shock turned to outrage. How could parents, the very definition of love and protection, be responsible for something so brutal? Tonight, we take you inside a case that forces us to question everything we believe about trust, loyalty, and family. Stay with us as we uncover the tragic choices that led to a child's life being stolen and the justice that followed. Before we get deeper into this heartbreaking story, where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments below. And if you believe children deserve better, hit the like button to stand with us. This is Psycho Crimes, and this is the story of a life betrayed from within.
We have new developments this morning. A family speaking through their heartbreak after a 6-year-old Henry County child died from abuse. Police say his mom and her boyfriend are responsible. His father's side of the family gathered for a vigil at the home where little Jacob Williams spent his final days. They talked exclusively to Hope Ford.
The pain is different.
That's the worst feeling in the world. I would never thought I'd ever feel this.
From the moment the 911 call came in, something about the scene didn't sit right with responding officers. The house appeared too still, almost staged, as if someone had tried to erase all traces of struggle or chaos. At first, the parents' version of events was simple: a tragic accident, a horrible, unexpected loss. But when investigators began asking questions, inconsistencies started to surface. Small details, things most grieving parents would have instinctively known or remembered, were either missing or flat out wrong. An autopsy later confirmed what officers had begun to suspect. This was no accident. The child's injuries told a story of violence, not a simple misfortune. And they were arrested, but the family kept grieving for a gone so soon.
Jacob deserved was a chance to grow up.
I want to see him have kids, him a girlfriend. Y'all took that from me.
You took our friend, our life.
When a mother is responsible for her child's death,
With 1 count of malice murder and 1 count of felony murder, both of those being felonies.
like in the case of 33-year-old Dashanti Beard, who was appearing for her arraignment in Henry County, Georgia, Beard and her boyfriend, 29-year-old Les Thompson, were accused of beating her son to death. At their home in the Ellenwood neighborhood, authorities said 6-year-old Jacob Williams was regularly abused by the couple and suffered severe injuries on his body. Jacob had bruises on 80% of his body, a broken arm, and severe head trauma. Jacob was rushed to the hospital where he was eventually taken off life support 3 days later. The mother and her boyfriend were arrested and charged with felony murder and child abuse. Now Beard was making her first court appearance remotely from prison. But when the judge read aloud her charges, it became too much for the distraught mother.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Ms. Beard. First and foremost, you have the right to remain silent regarding these charges against you.
Overcome with grief, Beard collapsed to the ground and wept inconsolably. Deshant Beard is currently held without bond in county jail, and her case is set to go to trial later this year. While a child's death became too much for a killer mother.
This is Miss Beard.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Ms. Beard. You're being brought before me again this morning for what's called a first appearance, okay? I'm going to go over your rights again. And then I'm going to tell you what the charges are in this warrant. And it's my understanding that you applied for court-appointed counsel, so they'll be in touch with you to discuss the case moving forward.
Later that year, after months of legal proceedings and public outrage, the case finally reached its conclusion. As the judge prepared to deliver the sentence, silence gripped the room. No murmurs, no movement, just a breathless stillness. The sentence, life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah. That hearing will occur in front of a magistrate judge, and the purpose of that hearing would not be to determine whether or not you're guilty or innocent, but to determine whether or not there's sufficient probable cause to bind the charges over to Superior Court for further prosecution.
Some said it was justice. Others believed it barely scratched the surface of the pain that child endured. Neither parent flinched. No apology. No emotion. Just blank stares, as if the weight of what they had done had long since hollowed them out. Outside, cameras rolled. Reporters recapped the verdict. Some relatives wept quietly, while others simply stood in silence, not in celebration but in mourning. Because while a verdict had been reached, nothing could undo what had happened behind those walls. Justice was served, but the scars would never fully fade.